Hello, everybody. Welcome to this review of Law and Order Season 1. This was viewed recently in June 2020. Rated this 5 out of 5. I was never a habitual viewer of Law and Order, but my mother gravitates to the show a lot because she breathes and lives in the criminal justice system. And whenever I catch reruns on television, the show is fascinating and captivating, and I would stay to the end. For years, I always wanted to go back to the beginning of the seasons and watch all of the episodes in order. So now I finally take advantage of my chance. I love watching Law and Order, and as incredible as the cast is, it is the realism of the authentic New York City setting. Think of the Naked City. That is the ultimate clincher and sets it apart from pretty much everything else made, including movies. It's safe to say that each episode is like a mini movie, although many of the stories are really ripped off from real cases, hence the disclaimer at the end. Of the cast, my favorite is Chris Noth, who is most definitely handsome. I like Richard Brooks, and it's refreshing to see a black actor play a serious character for a change. George Zunda can be special in some episodes. The strongest acting performance of the ensemble has to go to Michael Moretti, whose character is obviously brilliant and very righteous. Among the top 5 opening credits ever, Law and Orders is as riveting as Miami Vice's and Hawaii Five-O's. Taking notice of the excellent editing as it is carried over to the rest of the episode, making it quite impressive to watch for being fast-paced, succinct, and to the point. Here's my analysis for some of the following episodes. Subterranean Homeboy Blues. That's weird when ADA Robinette went searching through the accused murderer's apartment and found gun, books, and paper targets, even though the case was already underway. Shouldn't that be done within hours of her arrest? Ben Snow might want to tone down his apocalyptic version of the outcome in regards to vigilante justice if she got off the hook because it sounded tiresome. Kiss the curls and make them die. At this point, it would be nice to know the sentencing outcome of all the defendants thus far. Although they have may be found guilty, there are still appeals to go. One moment in this particular episode that quizzically struck me is the way the defendant's lawyer moved his mouth to the left during the arraignment hearing. Corruption at work, perhaps. I thought the lawyer was being played by Ron Silver, but it was Dennis Bauskars. Both bear an uncanny resemblance of each other. The bartender is Adam LaFrere, one of the great cast members of the Return of the Secaucus 7. As for Ned Loomis, I thought the case against him was terribly weak, and I was leaning toward not guilty, even though there was no doubt that he did it. Everybody's favorite bagman. This must be the very first episode shot in series history. Everybody looks young and Law introduces itself to order. It turns out the episode was filmed 2 years prior to 1990, but the producers decided to go with Prescription for Death to start off the show. Meanwhile, William H. Macy stars. Happily Ever After. The rest of the story becomes predictable after I heard Janet's story repeated word for word for the second time. There is a nice ring of logic to the boys' version of the events as in Bang Bang. By the way, as it has become increasingly noticeable, I love the show's disclaimer that all events portrayed in each episode are fictitious and any resemblance to real people or events is purely coincidental. Yeah, sure. So I take that the producers wanted to avoid lawsuits. Now to come think of it, perhaps the introduction of the show would be slightly modified as follows. In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the people who investigate crime and the distinct attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their ripped-off stories. By hook or by crook. The prostitute's logic is highly amusing because she believes in the old Hollywood myth that the cops must reveal their identity as part of her screening test. Then she tries to win the game with a full house only to be crushed by the royal flush after finding out that she has AIDS. Watching her smirk go in a flash after getting the shock of her life is a lovely sight. By the way, out of 100 to 1,000 Johns, I wonder how many of them got infected with the fatal disease. Patricia Clarkson guest stars and is well known for her performance in the Deadpool. Thus far in the show, so many defendants have testified in court, and why. In this case, the madman sabotaged her defense when she should have stayed silent. Poison Ivy. So far, this is the best episode of the season. I love how the word racism is applied in this situation, which reminds me of the garbage protests that had gone during the aftermath of Ferguson and Minneapolis. The Harlem black kid, who could do no wrong, was an honor student at Princeton University. I bet he got that monkey for his perfect attendance. What a laugh. It just keeps getting better as the episode tops the last one by a mile and is among all-time greats, just like Indifference. Everybody is supercharged and passionate about the issues at hand, and the court drama is compelling to watch. Chris Noth and Michael Moriarty are simply fantastic. Out of the Half-Light. It's the infamous Tawana Varley case. The always full of hot air congressman Eaton is Al Sharpton. Stone, check his tax returns. People like him do set back race relations for the decades with their ridiculous diatribe of the black man's injustice at the hands of the white man. Let it go. Unfortunately, the Minneapolis incident is another reminder of why this country has gone permanently backwards. By the way, I give mad props to the black female judge, and it's a fine job by Robinette as well. Jordan Hill is played by the very young Harold Perrineau of Oz fame. Life choice. Carolyn Cava guest stars and is a good actress in her own right. Her character commits suicide on the stand in a no-shit case. The final question posed before her is a beautiful irony. Chris Noth's and George Zunza's characters go at each other's throats over the abortion issue, and I don't think it's even relevant to the investigation at hand. The Violence of Summer. That's a very clever trick Grievery pulled to strengthen the case that seemed to be a long shot of all long shots. It's nice to see Samuel L. Jackson and Philip Seymour Hoffman while they are very young. Al Shannon, who plays Perting, was in Miami Vice's episode Milk Run as one of the two kids in the mall shootout. The Secret Sharers. This is a case that the jury based their decision on emotion, not law. The most simple explanation of the not guilty verdict is that the nice Puerto Rican boy killed a convicted drug dealer rapist, and it was no big deal. However, it is too bad that the accused drug dealer's history was blocked because it could have played a very strong factor in the jury's decision. On the other hand, the Texas lawyer is annoying and needs to be reminded often that he is in the wrong state. The Serpent's Tooth. The two sons strangely feel nothing for their parents afterwards and show no emotion after the accused killer was found guilty. The Blue Wall. This news fest is George Zunza's final episode because he surprisingly quit after the end of season 1 due to having to commute between his home in Los Angeles and New York City. How can George find something else in this good again? And he never did. Meanwhile, the creators of the show need to get back to the basics by sticking to the crimes that involve ordinary people in order to make their stories compelling again. Otherwise, it's dull to sit around through high-profile complex cases. So there's that. Every episode in Law Order is reviewed. I hope you find this review interesting. Another thing that I really liked about the show was the music. I think that the theme song for Law and Order is perfect, and they couldn't have found a perfect organization of music. Thank you so much for watching. You should definitely check out Law and Order, especially the first season. Please come back to my other movie reviews. Thank you.